Hello, poopsies. Thank you for joining me. Today you can probably hear some rain sounds outside. I decided to leave my door open so you can hear the wonderful sounds of spring now that March is approaching here in Florida in the United States. And today I'm going to be flipping through a magazine. So I'm delighted to do that. A newspaper, not a magazine. So let us begin. I'll read some stories and stuff like that. We used to always grow up with the newspaper every morning and a cup of coffee. But now it's our cell phones and I guess a cup of tea. Or kombucha or coconut water, whatever people drink these days, right? So it says a century of training. South Florida's spring training history and how it became one of most popular. I feel like they should have said one of the most popular winter baseball destinations, I guess. No place to call home. Homeless in Florida face new challenges like fear and paranoia due to new state law. And there's actually a really large homeless encampment in the same town I live in. Apparently they're getting rid of that and building something totally different, so they're having to house all these people. Healthy body, gum disease is common and can lead to tooth loss if untreated. I've actually been told I have gingivitis, which is shocking because I brush twice daily, floss every day, use mouthwash, and go to every 6 months I go to teeth cleanings. You know, I definitely don't do everything they say, but, you know, I guess an electric toothbrush definitely helps. I feel no pain or anything. It's just like, I guess there's like recession of gums. And so I don't know what that's about, but I guess I can read into that. There was a line outside a church in Fort Myers on a Saturday morning in late January, and the parking lot was full, but it wasn't because of a church service. Instead, it was for services being provided to the homeless, some of them veterans. Called the Homeless Service Day. This is from Florida Weekly, volume 15, number 44. It's a free newspaper. Week of February 20 through 26, 2025. Called the Homeless Service Day and Veterans Stand Down event. It included various resources from free clothing and haircuts to representatives of Family Health Centers of Southwest Florida, Area Agency on Aging for Southwest Florida, Head Starts. And I'll continue to read when I get there. Talking about pickleball here. Definitely people love to play pickleball here. Transform your kitchen. Shorebird seabird beach nesting season is on. A reminder that shorebird seabird nesting season started February 15. Florida is home to many species of shorebirds and seabirds, which nest directly on the sand of our coastal beaches. Charlotte County hosts 3 species of shorebirds, including Wilson's plover, snowy plover, and American oystercatcher, as well as 2 species of seabirds, least tern and black skimmer. Each nesting season, Charlotte County staff installs temporary fencing, stakes, string, flagging, and educational signage around solitary and colony nesting areas to provide a safe buffer zone to nest and raise their young. When visiting our coastal areas, avoid posted shorebird, seabird nesting areas, and leave your dog at home. Dogs are seen as predators and have the potential to disturb critical nesting activities. Interesting. I definitely have seen them yesterday on the beach. I went to Sanibel, and I've never seen Sanibel Island that busy. Like, oh my gosh. It was crazy. Pets of the week. Tinsley. Tinsley, an 11-month-old tortie cat. 3-colored. She's friendly and has lived with other cats. What a deal. Just $5 million for all of Florida. In one of the great real estate deals of all time, the United States acquired all of Florida from Spain 206 years ago, this week for less than the price of a Naples beachfront home. Spain's asking price was $5 million. The sale closed on February 22nd, 1819. A cash deal sold as is. It's really not that long ago. It is unknown who among the more than 200,000 real estate agents in Florida got the commission for that sale. Oh wait, they weren't here yet. But they would flock down soon enough once word got out about the great bargains to be had on swampland. That's probably all it was back then. They probably underestimated Florida. What many people may not realize is that Florida, not Plymouth Rock, was the first part of the United States to be settled by Europeans. This is a fact. Those early pioneers were enjoying our beaches and hurricanes long before the Mayflower landed. But they weren't the first actual human beings to arrive. Paleo-Indians began trekking to this peninsula 14,000 years ago. They were here long before the Egyptian pyramids were built. Jesus Christ. Thousands of years earlier than the birth of Christ, and I just said Christ, oh my gosh. And certainly before Juan Ponce de Leon showed up in 1513 in search of the Fountain of Youth. There's actually a Ponce de Leon park near where I live. I like that place. It was Ponce who gave the state its name. He arrived during the Easter holiday and named it after the season's festival of flowers, Pascua, Florida. The indigenous people of Florida, the Calusas, weren't consulted. Annoyed, they rewarded Ponce de Leon by fatally shooting him with a poisoned arrow. By the early 19th century, Americans, the first snowbirds, were migrating here, so the Spaniards figured it was time to sell, while demand was high, and it wasn't long thereafter before the landscape became littered with roadside motels and tourist traps selling seashells, shark teeth, and baby gator heads. Oh my gosh. One of those early tourists, historians imagine, spotted a pond full of alligators and decided to swim across. Hold my beer, he told his friend. Thus was born the legend of Florida Man, and it all began 2 centuries ago this week. Yeah, Florida's a unique place, for sure. This is all about health. This is about sports. I really never cared for sports, to be honest. It's something I still don't understand to this day. Here it is, homeless. So, Childhood Learning Services, St. Matthew's House, Goodwill, Career Source, Southwest Florida, and more. The event was held in conjunction with the annual point in time commonly known as the PIT count, held annually across the country in an attempt to count each area's homeless population. On a single night during the last 10 days of January, staff of various agencies, along with volunteers, go out into the community they serve to take account of sheltered and unsheltered homeless. The PIT count is taken by regional continuum of care entities, comprised of service providers, businesses, nonprofits, food banks, law enforcement, etc. There are 27 COC agencies to cover the 67 counties of Florida, some covering more than one county. There are 435 continuums across the country. All counts are given to the Department of Housing and Urban Development to help in decisions about federal policies, programs, and funding. Homelessness rose 18% in the nation last year, according to HUD. It's so sad, you know. Florida has the third largest homeless population in the country. Yeah, there's definitely a lot here. Life for homeless people in the state recently became more precarious with the passage of a new law that bans sleeping and camping in public. The law was passed by the legislature in 2024 and signed by Governor Ron DeSantis. It took effect in October, but enforcement didn't begin until January. Yeah, that's why I don't really see the tents anymore. I used to see tents sometimes in places. It's so sad. A statement issued by the governor's office upon signing the bill said it was meant to, quote-unquote, keep our streets safe and protect the public and quality of life for Floridians. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I've never had a bad run-in with a homeless person in my life. DeSantis is quoted in the release as saying Florida will not allow homeless encampments to intrude on its citizens or undermine their quality of life like we see in states like New York and California. California and New York are number 1 and number 2 in the country in homeless population respectively. Well, to be fair, they're also probably the most densely populated, so there's that. The full impact of the new law has yet to be seen. Some of the agencies that work with the homeless in the area have heard of scattered arrests of homeless people sleeping in public or homeless people moving from public spaces to sleep or camp on private land, but nothing widespread so far. However, one thing is clear. People who are homeless are feeling a new level of fear. And I've known someone who's gone homeless, and I've heard stories of people who have, and it's like these shelters can't always accommodate people, and they're sometimes full, and if they don't reserve their spot well ahead of time, they're not guaranteed a spot. And not everyone on top of that is completely, clean, where they can even go in a shelter. So what are these people supposed to do? Sleep in the river? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there definitely has to be a better system. Scared shelterless. This is a huge impact, said Leanne Sassino, Executive Director of the Florida Coalition to End Homelessness. It doesn't solve the problem of homelessness. It makes it more difficult to associate with the homeless because they're afraid of the bill. Others echo that the homeless in their areas are reacting with fear. There's a lot of paranoia, especially in the newly homeless, said Michael Overway, Executive Director of the Lee County Homeless Coalition, the Collier County Hunger and Homeless Coalition, and the Southwest Florida Regional Coalition to End Homelessness. They keep to themselves. End quote. Since January, it's become more difficult to locate some of the people they provide street outreach services to, said Christina Lucier, Vice President of Community Programs at the Lord's Place, which provides shelter and services to the homeless at several locations in Palm Beach County. The Director of Homeless Outreach said that he's been seeing a lot of fear, Lucier said, and that fear has motivated some individuals to be out of public view and to kind of shy away from services, she said, whereas it's motivated others to actually ask more about how can I engage in housing because it's getting difficult out here with regard to enforcement and things like that. The Florida Association of Counties succinctly describes what the legislation prohibits and allows. It prohibits any county or municipality from authorizing or otherwise allowing any person to regularly engage in public camping or sleeping on any public property, including but not limited to any public building or its grounds or any public right-of-way under the jurisdiction of the county or municipality. A county may designate property owned by the county, city, or a municipality within the county with the city or municipality's approval for the purposes of public camping or sleeping. A property designated as such must be certified by the Department of Children and Families and meet specific minimum standards. That means access to clean and operable restrooms and running water, coordinating with the regional managing entity to provide access to behavioral health services, including substance use and mental health treatment resources, prohibiting illegal substance and alcohol use on the property and enforcing such prohibition. In addition, any resident or business of a specific county, city, municipality, or the Attorney General can file a lawsuit against the county for violating the ban. There were 31,462 homeless persons in Florida in 2024, an increase of 2.3%, according to the Florida Council 2024 Annual Homelessness Report, but the unsheltered count increased by 9.6%. Well, if they keep jacking up rent, what do they expect? And it's the mental health crisis as well, on top of that. In my opinion, that's not part of the article, that's just my opinion. Returns to homelessness also increased since 2023, indicating ongoing challenges for those facing chronic housing instability, the report says. In Collier County, the total number of homeless persons was 878 in 2024, compared to 703 in 2023, an increase of 25%, said Steve Bruder, the president and CEO of St. Matthew's House in Naples. Well, first of all, Naples is not going to have that many homeless, it's Naples, Naples and West Palm Beach are probably the richest places on planet Earth. That's, again, just my opinion, my take. I've been to both places. I've been to Naples several times. Like, they're definitely not hurting. Only the homeless, I would say. The unsheltered number in Collier County went up 69%, he said. In Lake County, there were 941 homeless persons overall in 2024, compared to 862 in 2023. Yeah, so that's quite a jump, isn't it? An increase of 9%, Bruder said. In Charlotte County, the numbers went down from 427. Oh, that's good. It went down in 2023 to 348 in 2024, a drop of 18.5%. However, our numbers have held under 200 until Hurricane Ian put us over 400, said Angela Hogan, CEO of the Gulf Coast Partnership, the continuum of care that covers Charlotte County. That's really not a lot of people. Charlotte County has, I would say, over 130,000 people. That's really not, that's pretty darn good. That's a pretty low percent. I thought it was way more, honestly. We have been scratching our way back down ever since. I do think there will be another spike as a result of Hurricanes Helene and Milton. In Palm Beach County, homelessness increased from 1,855 in 2023 to 2,126 in 2024, a rise of 14.6%. Yeah, that's a lot. A few hundred people who may be homeless in a county with a population of hundreds of thousands may not seem like much to some, but the PIT count, by its very nature, cannot provide an accurate count of homeless in an area. HUD reports that the PIT count can typically only capture 1/3 of the actual number of homeless, Bruder said. Yeah, I would think so, because that's way too low of a number. I'm confident it's way more than that. Overweight thinks the percentage is as low as 15%. A 2017 study by the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty, don't count on it, how the HUD point-in-time count underestimates the homelessness crisis in America, discusses the flaws in PIT counts. The PIT fall. Current PIT count data must always be used with the explicit recognition that the data represents significant undercounts, the study said. Annual data, which better account for the movement of people in and out of homelessness over time, are significantly larger. The Center referred to another study published in 2001 by lead writer Stephen Mitro and a group of researchers that used administrative data collected from homeless service providers. The annual number of homeless individuals is estimated to be 2.5 to 10.2, I would say 10 times greater, than can be obtained using a PIT count. However, the PIT count, which started in 2007, is the only way currently to measure how many sheltered and unsheltered homeless are out there. Whatever the number, there isn't enough shelter space, to house them, and the existing shelters always have a waiting list. For example, St. Matthew's House has 3 shelters, including a new Fort Myers women's and children's shelter. The new shelter was full 10 days after opening, and it only took that long because applications were being processed, Bruder said. Women experiencing homelessness in Lake County went from 92 in 2023 to 387 in 2024, a 33% increase. Yeah, I know in Fort Myers, people have it really bad there. The 3 shelters have a total of 240 beds. We have a wait list every day, he added. The rising trends in homelessness are seniors and single women with or without children. Overway said, many of the single women are living in cars. Seniors in this case refers to people over 55, and that's why it's such a hard count, because there's so many people also crashing on their friend's couch temporarily, going in their cars, moving out of state, skewing the numbers furthermore. There is not a true count. It really is much more dire than they make it seem. The senior situation, the number one issue with seniors is they don't want to tell their children. Overway said, when asked why not, the answer is shame. He said, I'm ashamed to be homeless, they say. One 63-year-old woman lost her beachfront house in Hurricane Ian, and I was just going to say that a lot of people, myself included, went homeless temporarily during things like Hurricane Ian, because we had no power, we had roof damage, and so obviously, you can't really reside there, and electrical issues, so it's like, it's not safe, So, I felt literally homeless. It was like for 2.5 weeks. Yes, it was a bougie homeless, but homeless nonetheless. And it's happened to millions of people, whether we realize it or not. I think over 1 million people had to escape the last hurricane that happened last year, myself included. Where would we have gone if we didn't have a place to stay at? Someone's house. It's just like, people don't think about these things. We're all capable of going homeless at any time. It's just what it is. Homelessness by county. HUD requires that the Continuum Care conduct an annual point-in-time (PIT) count of persons experiencing homelessness, which are divided into unsheltered and sheltered population categories for further analysis. Point-in-time counts by county 2019 to 2024. So, yeah. Charlotte went in 2019 from 156 to now 343. Collier went from almost 500 to now almost 900. Lee went from 630 to 940. Palm Beach went from almost 1,400 to over 2,100. And I'm guaranteed that's way more. Had no insurance, Overway said. She crammed everything she owned in her Jeep and has been living there ever since. Overway said a 97-year-old woman was recently found sleeping at a bus stop. Poor lady. Gosh, it really should not be like this, On East Tamiami Trail. She was born and raised in Naples. When she retired more than 40 years prior, she was getting $688 per month, he said. The leading cause is the skyrocketing cost of rents and lack of affordable housing, say those who interact with and assist the homeless. Others say people are still recovering from economic challenges at the end of the pandemic and dealing with the aftermath of hurricanes that destroyed homes and businesses. In Charlotte County, senior homelessness is increasing due to the series of hurricanes over the last 2 or 3 years that damaged or destroyed much of the older and more affordable housing inventory, Hogan said. Many seniors on a fixed income cannot afford the new inventory being built, she said. Bruder also blamed inflation, displacement from hurricanes, and medical costs. It's tragic seeing seniors going to a homeless shelter with nowhere to go, he said. This just makes me cry. It's just so sad. Year to year, most people you see are those carrying signs on the road. They count for about 7% of homeless. Those newly homeless are the vast majority. Michael Overway. I wish there was more I could do to help or, outreach in some way. I guess through this video, it's just like spreading awareness is so important, He told of a woman in her 80s who called St. Matthew's House for help, but she was confused and couldn't say where she was, Bruder said. The staff member on the phone asked her if there were any landmarks. There was a Publix nearby, which is like our grocery store here. The woman said the staff member told her to go inside the store, find a manager, and try to get him on the phone. The woman did, and managed to find a manager who spoke with the staff member. Thanks to Publix, he managed to get her to us, Bruder said. It turned out she had been living with her granddaughter, who had a boyfriend who didn't want her around or living with them, Bruder said. Yes, there's so many of those situations too. She'd been, and like people get in fights, She'd been in her car, wandering around ever since. St. Matthew's House was able to place her successfully. Lucier believes the data that shows that within the last 5 years, the number of seniors experiencing homelessness has nearly doubled. It's something we've really taken on as a priority at the Lord's Place, she said. We've dedicated a number of beds in our new housing campuses that we've been building in the past few years to seniors specifically. Agencies like the Lord's Place are working tirelessly to end homelessness for those they serve, she said. But at the same time, there are more individuals and families losing their housing or coming to Palm Beach County without housing. And so many homeless people go to cities because you have everything you need in cities. That's why they're more there rather than a place like where I live. So that further skews the numbers. You see what I'm saying? So they may say, oh, there's only 300 homeless in your whole county, but this is not a city. And in a red state, unfortunately, there's a lot of a lack of accommodations, help for the disabled, stuff like that. So resources in general, especially like red counties as well. So it's like, I know this because my brother is right now temporarily disabled because of his retinal detachment on both eyes. So, there's just a lack of resource and help. It's just tragic. Lucier said many of their clients have had interactions with law enforcement, that they've been arrested and detained on charges relating to trespassing, she said. The reason seems to be they're moving on to private property at night to sleep because they can't be on public property. We have good partnerships with the law enforcement, with our outreach teams in general, Lucier said. They made statements that they're doing what they can to mitigate having to arrest people, and that they're trying to take as many actions to connect people to supportive services as possible, and using things like arrest as a last resort, she said. Arresting them only makes matters worse, Cecino said. When they do apply for housing, landlords research your background and will see the arrest record, she said. That impacts the ability to get housing. Bruder said that in Collier County, their case manager will go out with deputies on ride-alongs to find the homeless. The only solution. When we speak to law enforcement, they're pretty helpful, Bruder said. They don't want to hassle people. They want to enforce the law. The Lake County Sheriff's Office also has a HOT team that performs a similar function, he added. HOT is an acronym for Housing, Outreach, and Treatment. And the HOT teams are a collaboration between Lake County, the Centerstone Criminal Justice Program, and local law enforcement, including the Lake County Sheriff's Office, Cape Coral Police, Fort Myers Police, Sanibel Police, and others. A law enforcement officer will go out with a behavioral health professional to conduct street outreach to persons experiencing homelessness, to connect individuals and families to housing and services, the website says. A lot of myths about the homeless still persist, Overway said. Year to year, most people I still feel like crying. This is just so sad. They just go through so much, these people, man. Year to year, most people you see are those carrying signs on the road. They count for about 7% homeless, he said. Those newly homeless are a vast majority. Back in the parking lot of the church in Fort Myers, free meals were being given out from a food truck to members of the homeless community, whether newly homeless, long-time homeless, sheltered or unsheltered. Narita Blackwell, shout out to my homeless poopsies. I know I have a few. Narita Blackwell sat at a table and said she had been living in her car for 3 years with her daughter. Wow, jeez. She said she's homeless because she was evicted from her apartment. Her landlord claims she had too many people living with her, but she denies it. Yeah, that happens a lot of times. A lot. True or not, she now has an eviction on her record and can't get another apartment because of it, she said. Ask what it has been like living in her car, she said. Scary, terrifying, stressful. She said she'd never been homeless before. She's disabled from neuropathy and high blood pressure, but she also has skills in performing ultrasounds and phlebotomy. Blackwell said she got some food at the event and is now getting help from St. Matthew's House. A lot of times churches will help you too, They'll be a good place of solace and peace and financial support to get people on their feet. I just need a place, she said. The only solution to homelessness is putting people in homes, Cecino said. If we don't get them into homes, we'll never solve homelessness. So, I'm sorry, that was a long article. I'm just a little passionate about stuff like that. I'm gonna rest my voice. It's raining so much today. This pristine home is in a greenbelt lot with water view. One step inside this home at 1212 Yasmin Lane, Punta Gorda, and you will want to claim it as your own. As pristine as this property is outside, the inside is even more breathtaking. Enter through an inviting foyer to be greeted by a stunning cathedral ceiling, open floor plan with a gorgeous, gleaming kitchen with new appliances, great room, outstanding heated pool, and lanai. The split-bedroom floor plan offers numerous extras unseen in other homes, with exceptional closet and storage space and a new wow factor at every turn. This home offers 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms inside, plus an exterior lanai pool bath, the lushly landscaped fenced backyard, lake-fed irrigation system. I'm sorry, the camera cut off. I was going to say, you got to be careful with homes under contract. I was reading the square footage and the price, but the camera cut off. It's okay. Oh, these are pretty. Really beautiful homes. Gosh. It's gorgeous. Talking about farmers markets. There's a home in Minnesota Key going for $11.9 million. Jeez. Don't lose your teeth. Gum disease is more common than you think, and yes, it could lead to tooth loss if not treated. I'm making this video nice and long so you can enjoy the, sometimes we like listening to news and we play it in the background, and the rain maybe helps you relax, the page flipping. So, yes, you learn more things too. If you had bad breath or if your gums feel a little tender and inflamed, it is important not to ignore these early signs of potential gum disease, a progressive condition that can wreak havoc in the mouth. According to Dr. Alberto Lopez and Dr. Glenda de la Paz at Olean Dental in Port Charlotte, proper oral hygiene, yearly checkups, and regular professional cleanings are critical in the fight against the onslaught of bacteria that can decay the gums, teeth, and bone structure of the jaw. The American Dental Association, ADA, reports that roughly 42% of U.S. adults aged 30 or older, geez, make me feel old now. I also have 2 cavities I need to fill in a couple weeks, have some form of periodontitis. Well, that makes me feel a lot better. Commonly referred to as gum disease. And the prevalence increases after age 65, when about 60% become afflicted. Periodontal disease affects the tissues that hold the teeth in place, the gums and the bone, explains Lopez. The most common things that people first notice are bleeding after brushing their teeth and bad breath. This is the early stage known as gingivitis. Bad breath comes from your gums and from the area around the gums where popcorn tends to get stuck. The bacteria that accumulate there makes them puffy, soft and red instead of pink, which is the healthy color of the gums. The tissue around the teeth gets weak and very sensitive. According to Lopez, many of his patients decide not to brush or floss those tender areas for a day or 2, thinking that the gums need rest, but that is precisely the wrong approach. Bacteria forms a film called plaque that eventually hardens to tartar, and tartar buildup can spread below the gum line. At this point, only a dental health professional can remove it to hopefully stop the progression. Left untreated, the later stages of periodontal disease involve gums that pull away from the teeth, causing them to loosen or even fall out, as well as bone loss in the jaw. And that's what I'm afraid of, because I don't know why that's been happening, but I guess that's been happening. So if someone has natural remedies for recession, gum recession, that will be appreciated. Bacteria, because, a dental visit, last time I checked, is very costly. Bacteria are the bad guys in this movie, said Lopez. You don't want the bad guys to get inside of the gums and reach the bone. The reason you're getting bleeding and bad breath is because bacteria is starting to decompose the tissue. Well, I never have those issues, thankfully. It just seems like, yeah, they showed me how to properly brush, like not to just brush the teeth, but the gums, which I often forget to do. So hopefully that's going to start helping a bit more. Periodontal disease starts on the surface of the gums and then progresses into this talks about loneliness here. I might want to read that too later. Progresses into the gums. Eventually that process of decomposition starts damaging your bone, and then it's almost like things are melting away. Like the foundation of a building, the jawbone anchors teeth in place. Once that foundation becomes compromised, teeth loosen and could even be lost. Keeping teeth clean. The undisputed first defense to gum disease is proper oral hygiene, which includes brushing at least twice a day, after breakfast, and right before bed. I usually do like before breakfast in the morning and then before bed, but because it's so weird to eat with like morning breath, you know what I mean? People with gum disease may need to brush 3 or 4 times a day after every meal and snack. Oh, that's a lot. That's too much. That's doing the most. That's for people who don't go to teeth cleanings, probably. Lopez is a big proponent of the electric toothbrush. It doesn't matter how good you are at brushing your teeth manually. When you use an electric toothbrush, you remove 10 times more bacteria and plaque from your mouth, and your chances of developing this disease will go down significantly. I really do need to buy one. Yeah. I used to use it, but I don't know. I was like, what's the difference? I don't know. Aim the center of the electric toothbrush at the gum line, in the area between the gum and the tooth, and move it slowly. You need to spend at least 2 minutes brushing because it's impossible to clean every surface of all of your teeth in less than 2 minutes. The Oral-B electric toothbrush is an app that shows you where you're at in real time and if you're missing any area. Lopez recommends using fluoride toothpaste as per ADA guidelines. Those with sensitive teeth may benefit from Sensodyne toothpaste. De La Paz enjoys using an antibacterial mouthwash in the morning for a fresh mouth feel. Flossing once daily is also critical to clean the areas between the teeth where a toothbrush cannot reach. Instead of just going up and down, make sure that you floss to the left and to the right so that you rub both sides of the teeth, counsels De La Paz. She also encourages using a water pick once a day. Lopez cautions the toothpaste, the floss, and even the mouth rinses are only a small percentage of the battle. The real deal here is the electric toothbrush. You're going to get 85 to 90% of the benefit in cleaning from the electric toothbrush. Sugar, starch, and soda. According to De La Paz, simple carbohydrates such as sugary and starchy foods tends to be the worst offenders, not only for overall health but also for bacterial accumulation in the mouth. If you're eating lots of carbs throughout the day, I highly suggest you brush more often. She advises. I mean, this all just sounds so silly, I guess. It's things we overlook. Sodas are also problematic. Carbonated beverages, even club soda, have such a low pH that they can destroy your enamel if you drink them constantly. The acidity melts teeth away, literally, explains De La Paz. The problem is not so much that you're eating or drinking it, it's the amount of time it's staying in your mouth without rinsing or brushing it out. In the fight against periodontitis, Olean Dental recommends a yearly checkup, which includes x-rays to determine if there is any bone loss. Cleanings with a trained hygienist should be done 2 to 4 times a year, depending on the severity of the gum disease. To assess the progression, the hygienist will use a periodontal probe to check for bleeding and tartar buildup and to measure the depth of what is called the pocket, the distance between the tooth and gums. Each tooth receives a rating. Number 1 through 3 are assigned to simple cases of gingivitis, which can be alleviated when the patient improves their daily brushing regimen. Numbers 4 through 6 point to an active infection and tartar buildup under the gum line, requiring a deep cleaning by the hygienist. In extremely severe cases, a periodontist or gum disease specialist may need to be consulted. Yeah. Dizzy, off balance? The problem could be vestibular. Equilibrium is the perception of balance and spatial orientation. That helps prevent humans and animals from falling over when standing or moving. It is the result of several sensory systems working together: the eyes, the inner ears, and the sense of where the body is in space. The vestibular system is the sensory system responsible for providing our brain information about motion, head position, and spatial orientation. It also is involved with the motor functions that allows us to keep our balance, stabilize our head and body during movement, and maintain posture. Vestibular system disorders can lead to dizziness, balance and equilibrium problems, vision changes, vertigo, and even hearing changes. When the sense of balance is interrupted, it causes dizziness, disorientation, and nausea. Balance can be upset by Meniere's disease, an inner ear infection, a bad common cold, or several other medical conditions, including but not limited to vertigo. It can also be temporarily disturbed by quick or prolonged acceleration, for example, riding on a merry-go-round. Blows to the head and neck, especially to the side of the head, or directly to the ear, can also affect balance. The methods of vestibular rehabilitation therapy differ for different disorders. Therefore, each patient must be carefully assessed to diagnose vestibular dysfunction and choose the correct exercises for treatment. Assessments for vestibular disorders can involve examining an individual's ability to maintain posture, balance, and head position. And I kept reading and I didn't even realize the memory card was full. My bad. So let's keep going. Guess I'm almost done. These are just some events. Give a hoot. Cape Coral celebrates burrowing owls with 23rd annual festival amid extinction threat. Yeah, I've actually read about this in a park I went to a couple days ago. There's a serious threat to these owls. And I think Punta Gorda has a environmental rehabilitation center that you can visit for free, I believe, to see the burrowing owls and stuff like that. This year's Burrowing Owl Festival t-shirt features this photo by Darlene Colin, which won the 2024 CCFW Burrowing Owl Photo Contest. By Carly Admire. Cape Coral is honoring one of the best natural, free, and biologically controlled pest maintenance solutions that is at a risk of extinction, devouring over 7,000 insects and 1,800 rodents each season. This distinctive bird often resides in abandoned gopher holes scattered throughout local neighborhoods. Once referred to as the howdy owl for its polite head nod to passing cattlemen, the burrowing owl is Cape Coral's official and iconic bird. Organized by the Cape Coral Friends of Wildlife, the annual Burrowing Owl Festival is the largest wildlife event in Southwest Florida, soaring into its 23rd year, dedicated to the celebration and protection of the diurnal owl. It's an incredible event, and last year attracted about 3,700 visitors. Burrowing owls are designated as a threatened species, and Cape Coral is home to the state's largest population of these birds. It's essential that we continue to raise awareness and ensure their protection, said Janet Windisch of CCFW. Cape Coral's unique landscape has become a haven for burrowing owls, a species threatened globally. I was actually just there yesterday passing by. The area's transformation from swampland in the 1950s to a network of canals created the perfect environment for the owls to build their nests within the sandy soil. As a result, the community is enriched by the presence of these wild creatures, providing a rare opportunity for urban residents to coexist with a significant population of burrowing owls. The burrowing owl census estimates approximately 5,000 burrowing owls inhabit Cape Coral. I even saw one on the street. It was just flying, and it landed on the street while driving while I was in Cape Coral. These birds face numerous threats, including climate change, vehicle strikes, lack of prey, and poisoning. When people use poisons, the affected rodents re-enter the food chain, ultimately harming the owls that prey on them, said Windisch. We always have to keep educating residents about the burrowing owls in Cape Coral, since they can be found in your backyard, heard at night, and spotted on walks and bike rides. I think I hear them. I think it's this owl. I'm not sure. There's 2 or 3 that are in Florida, I believe. It's in my backyard sometimes. The 23rd annual festival will be held on February 22nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Rotary Park, 5505 Rose Garden Road in Cape Coral. The suggested donation for adult attendees is $5. We're excited to bring the community together for this special event, which highlights the beauty of our local wildlife and the importance of preserving it for future generations, said Judy Mitchell, president of CCFW. The festival will offer a scope of vendors, including refreshments and shopping opportunities for nature-themed merchandise, such as apparel, jewelry, and other novelty items, highlighting burrowing owls and native species. This year's festival t-shirt features a detailed photo by Darlene Collin, the 2024 CCFW Burrowing Owl Photo Contest winner. The festival will host numerous family-friendly activities, including arts and crafts, face painting, games, and guest speakers. The festival will also welcome Adams Animal Adventures and the Clinic for the Rehabilitation of Wildlife, or CROW, allowing children to engage with animal ambassadors and reptiles. Visitors can also explore the Lee County Library pop-up truck and snag snapshots with the Burrowing Owl mascot. The Burrowing Owl Festival will include the Wildlife Expo, said Windish. We anticipate around 40 different wildlife conservation organizations to be in attendance. Guests can look forward to live animal exhibits, including a honey producer who brings in an active beehive for observation and education. This year, the Conservancy of Southwest Florida will showcase their Learning Adventure Bus, a mobile science lab that makes science come alive for children. It's truly an exciting addition. That's wonderful. We plan to have our education team on site for this event, said Renee Stoll, the Conservancy's Director of Communications and Marketing. The Learning Adventure Bus is equipped with the latest technology and interactive tools and engages students in critical thinking and real-world problem solving, focusing on Florida's unique ecosystems and conservation efforts. From exploring wildlife corridors to understanding the impact of microplastics, the Learning Adventure Bus makes learning about environmental stewardship both accessible and exciting, fostering a new generation of informed conservationists. The annual festival will have an online and silent auction where attendees can participate in exclusive bidding opportunities made possible through partnerships with local organizations and businesses. The online auction is currently underway and will continue until February 23rd, said Windish. This offers a fantastic opportunity to support the CFW's mission, even if you can't attend the festival. Auction goers can find a mixture of items, including exciting trips and restaurant deals. Watching the competition for prizes during the festival's silent auction is always entertaining. While it can get intense, it's all in good fun and for a worthy cause. Other activities planned for the festival include local wildlife tours, a Rotary Park butterfly house tour, and photography bus tours. The local wildlife tours cater to guests of all ages and provide a personal viewing experience with the burrowing owls across protected Cape Coral properties. The Rotary Park Butterfly House Tour welcomes guests year-round, said Windish. The Tom Allen Butterfly House at Rotary Park is one of Cape Coral's premier attractions. It houses various native butterfly species, including Florida's state butterfly, the zebra longwing. In addition to butterflies, the garden has caterpillars and a selection of plants. On our bus tours, you can observe burrowing owls in their habitat, said Windish. For those interested in photography, we offer a longer photography tour that allows you to capture beautiful images of these owls and other wildlife. It is on a charter bus and guided by master birders. It is 4 hours long. By law, visitors must keep a distance of at least 10 feet from the burrowing owls, as they are a threatened species, though they are becoming more tolerant of human activity. Tickets for the photography bus tours must be purchased in advance at ccfriendsofwildlife.org and are priced at $70 each. Our primary goal for the Burrowing Owl Festival is to have fun, educate attendees, and raise awareness about local wildlife and the importance of supporting efforts to protect it, said Windish. The funds raised from the annual festival are used to acquire land in Cape Coral, ensuring a preserved habitat for burrowing owls, tortoises, which also I saw a tortoise right in front of their burrow, which they can burrow for up to 50 feet in the ground, apparently. Coyotes and other wildlife. Last year, the festival raised sufficient proceeds to purchase several lots in partnership with the Cape Coral Wildlife Trust, which now owns 81 lots, a total of 9 acres. In 2024, the City of Cape Coral received a $900,000 grant from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission to purchase additional land to support further burrowing owl habitats alongside the existing areas managed by the Cape Coral Wildlife Trust. Unlike other owl species, the burrowing owl is active from dawn to dusk. It uniquely nests underground rather than seeking refuge in trees or elevated foliage. Windish described the land where burrowing owls reside as marked by piping and perches. Burrowing owls are commonly seen resting on mailboxes and tend to stay close to their territories. The threatened species favors grassy landscapes with low vegetation and clear sight lines. If you have land with burrowing owls, you must pay for a permit to relocate the animal safely. Most people don't want to have the animal displaced and will sell or donate the lots to us, said Windish. CCFW volunteers meet weekly to maintain around 2,200 burrowing owl nests in Cape Coral. The nests are monitored using GPS tracking for active burrows. The organization welcomes new volunteers to participate and urges anyone to report unmarked or damaged burrows by calling 239-980-2593. Characterized by their distinctive light brown plumage with white speckles and striking bright yellow eyes, burrowing owls stand approximately 9 inches tall and span 21 inches wide in flight. Unfortunately, their average survival rates in the wild are low, with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service reporting 68% for males, 59% for females, and a risky 19% for first-year owlets. On average, these threatened birds' lifespan in the wild ranges from 6 to 8 years. The CCFW shared information on social media about constructing burrowing owl starter houses, which garnered over 43,000 shares. The post included guidance on ideal placement and angle and suggested a depth of about 1 foot. The Burrowing Owl Festival offers an opportunity to learn how to build starter burrows and support burrowing owls. Conservation efforts emphasize the importance of legally interacting with these birds and their habitats. As more homes and developments arise, the burrowing owls find fewer places to inhabit, Windish explained. We consistently encourage residents to create starter burrows on their properties. Digging a small, pipe-marked hole can entice owls to establish a burrow there. We actively promote this initiative. People can visit our website or call us for assistance setting up a starter burrow. The CCFW organizes several events and seminars throughout the year, emphasizing the significance of protecting threatened and native species in Southwest Florida. In anticipation of the festival, the group hosted the 7th Ground Owl Festival at the Pelican Baseball Complex. These cherished community events herald the arrival of spring and salute the city's natural wildlife, including the burrowing ground owl. CCFW offers an Adopt a Cape Coral burrowing owl program with 5 tiers ranging from advocate to benefactor, with donations varying from $25 to $10,000. Contributions directly support CCFW's commitment and are tax deductible. Supporters receive a certification, an owl pin, and additional keepsakes based on donation levels. CCFW is a nonprofit organization founded in 2001 that aims to educate and conserve wildlife, particularly addressing habitat loss affecting species like burrowing owls, Florida scrub jays, gopher tortoises, and bald eagles. More information about their initiatives, donations, and volunteer opportunities can be found at ccfriendswildlife.org. We are really excited for the Burrowing Owl Festival. It is a race against time to protect them, said Windish. Okay. That was a mouthful, but beautiful. Editorial cartoon. Missing his bus. Frank waves to find that he's been cited for sleeping in public. Frank wakes to find that he's been cited for sleeping in public. There's a ticket on his shoulder. He's sleeping and there's a bus there. Horoscopes. Let's read them damn horoscopes. I've been waiting on this one. Pisces. Use the weekend for a creativity break to help restore your spiritual energy. Once this is done, you'll be back and more than ready to tackle whatever challenge you need to face. Aries. Try to say as little as possible about the work you're doing through the end of the month. Then you can make your announcement and accept your well-deserved plaudits. Taurus. A more difficult challenge than you expected emerges early in the week. But with your strong Taurian determination, you should be able to deal with it successfully by week's end. Gemini. Before you act on your feelings about an upcoming decision, it might be wise to do a little fact-checking first. You could be very much surprised by what you don't find. Cancer. A recent workplace success can open some doors that were previously closed to you. On a personal level, expect to receive some important news from a longtime friend and colleague. Leo. Put your wounded pride aside and do what you must to heal a misunderstanding before it can take a potentially irreversible turn and leave you regretting the loss of a good friend. Virgo. One way to kick a less than active social life into high gear or rebuild an outdated Rolodex file is to throw one of your well-organized get-togethers for friends and associates. Libra. Getting out of an obligation you didn't really want to take on can be tricky. An honest explanation of the circumstances can help. Next time, pay more attention to your usually keen instincts. Scorpio. Use your Scorpion logic to push for a no-nonsense approach to a perplexing situation. This could help keep present and potential problems from creating more confusion. Sagittarius. A friend's problem might take more time than you wish to give, but staying with it once again proves the depth of your Sagittarian friendship and loyalty. Capricorn. The sea goat can benefit from an extra dose of self-confidence to unsettle your detractors, giving you the advantage of putting on a strong presentation of your position. Aquarius, you might want to ask a friend or relative for advice on an ongoing personal matter, but be careful not to give away information that you might later wish you had kept secret. Born this week, you get great joy out of creating beautiful things and sharing them with others who appreciate them. Oh gosh. This is about orchids. I'm gonna read it only if there's nothing else to read. Okay, I'll read it. This is the last article I'm reading, then I have to rest my voice because orchids are a popular thing here too. This is by Elaine Gates, another tabletop display by Elaine Gates from a 2019 Naples Orchid Society show with the theme Fortune Teller's Fantasy. The Alliance is a nonprofit organization of beginners to advanced hobbyists who share their knowledge with each other and pretty much anyone who cares to listen and learn. The group is growing, Gates said, with membership increasing from about 200 to more than 330 over the last 3 years. Karen and Richard Davenport also grow and collect orchids. Richard Davenport is president of the Naples Orchid Society, which has about 270 active members. They include a mix of people from all walks of life, but they all have one thing in common. They all want to learn, Karen Davenport said. I've been growing and killing orchids for 45 years, Karen Davenport said jokingly. For any plant she brings in, she may lose a couple along the way, she said. If you haven't killed an orchid, you probably haven't been growing them long enough, she said. But the number of ribbons and awards she's won over the years bellies her words. It's all about luck, she said modestly. Then she adds, it all comes down to knowledge. She thinks that joining an orchid club has given her an advantage because of the knowledge she has gained from other members. I can bring in a plant, and someone brings in the same plant that looks 10 times better, she said. Then she can find out what she did wrong. There are about 30,000 different species of orchids and many hundreds of thousands of hybrid orchids, Richard Davenport said. 2 upcoming shows will give people a chance to see what the orchid mania is all about. The Naples Orchid Society show is being held from February 21st to 23rd. That was just yesterday, at the Naples Botanical Gardens. Oh, I would love to see that botanical garden next, for sure. I might go next weekend, actually. I love seeing orchids. The Gulf Coast Orchid Alliance show is March 21st through 23rd at North Collier Regional Park. Both will feature thousands of orchids in a profusion of color and fragrance. Gates refers to it as a feast for the eyes. It's also a serious competition, which brings up a serious question. Who will choose the best of the best? That's where Wesley Higgins comes in. Higgins, who lives in Cape Coral, is a senior orchid judge who became fully accredited more than 30 years ago. All judges must be accredited by the American Orchid Society, and it's a 6-year process, he said. Your first 3 years are as a student judge, and then you become an associate judge, which is a sort of probationary category. And then after that, you get approved as fully accredited. The accreditation is awarded by the Judging Committee of the Trustees of the American Orchid Society. Yes, it's serious business. Just to become a judging student, you must take a species test, where applicants will be shown pictures of different orchid species, Higgins said. They expect you to have enough background knowledge to identify not all of them, because there's always a few real hard ones, but most of them, he said. In addition, there's a test for color vision. If you're colorblind, you're not eligible, he said. That sucks. Higgins has judged orchids all over the world, including being one of the judges at 10 World Orchid Conferences. These are held every 3 years with different countries vying to be the host nation. Kind of like the Olympics, he said. Higgins has traveled to Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Ecuador, France, Scotland, Canada, South Africa, and Miami to judge orchids, among other places. This is the most bougiest stuff I've ever read. Oh my god. Like Naples. This is This is bougie people with too much free time. Let me just be real with you. No, I'm just playing, but I'm sure anyone can join that. It's just like... When he spoke to Florida Weekly, he was going to judge an orchid show in Venice the next day. He plans to judge both the Gulf Coast Orchid Alliance show and the Naples Orchid Society show, but not by himself. It takes a whole team, in fact several teams, to judge a show, Higgins said. It takes a minimum of 3 judges for a team, and a typical show will have 4 or 5 teams, he said. When people put the orchids in, they enter them in certain classifications, Higgins said. So different teams get different classifications. One team might get the Cattleyas. Other teams might be assigned another of the popular orchid genera, plural of genus, Phalaenopsis, Oncidium, Dendrobium, Vanda, and Cymbidium. I butchered that one. Well, these are some people with their orchids. Let's see. They do 2 types of judging in an orchid show, Higgins said. One is ribbon judging, where ribbons are awarded for first, second, third place, etc. Then there is American Orchid Society judging, in which you're comparing certain plants against all the orchids of that type that ever been awarded by the American Orchid Society, he said. That's a database that goes back to 1932. So you have to have a computer to do Orchid Society judging. First, the judges will come in and they'll go through the ribbon judging. And then if the judges think some flower has a potential for an American Orchid Society award, then they'll nominate it, and once it gets nominated is when it goes to the back room, and they compare it to the previous awards, he said. The judges on the team all give it a numerical score, he said. If it scores between 75 and 80, it gets an HCC, which is a highly commended certificate. For 80 to 90, the flower gets an award of merit, and then 90 to 100 gets an FCC, or first class certificate, the highest award. The judges are all volunteers. No one gets paid for this. We just do it because we like it, Higgins said. Higgins blames his grandmother for his getting involved in judging orchids. She was an avid gardener and called all her plants by their proper Latin names, he said, so she got me interested in plants when I was a teenager. Higgins grew up in Lake County and used to collect native plants, bring them home and grow them. Some of those plants were orchids. Higgins typically has about 200 orchids, but he's been down to about 100 because he lost a lot to Hurricane Ian, he said. They'll slowly make a comeback, he said. His favorite orchid is Insignia tempensis, a local native orchid which some call the butterfly orchid. One of the things Higgins likes best about being a judge is the camaraderie with other judges, he said. It's a group of people that all have a common interest, and you end up traveling around the world, and you meet the same people in many locations because we all love to go to places, he said. But there's more. Both shows do a lot of displays in different categories with cut flowers and container displays, Gates said. Then there are the tabletop exhibits. These are also judged. Walking into the room where the exhibits are is just incredible because it's so fragrant, Gates said. It's just unbelievable. Several Florida orchid vendors will also be there with their wares at each show. Every year, each orchid show around the country has a theme, Gates said. This year's theme is Rocking and Rolling with Orchids. She can't wait to see how the theme is interpreted in displays and exhibits. The theme of the Naples Orchid Society show is Orchids in the Garden. That's our goal when we bring a planting or do a display, is to win the acknowledgement, the accolade that you have created something or grown something that's really recognized as being amazing, Gates said. And the whole judging process is really, really incredible. Gates has won several awards over the years, including quite a few for displays, she said. Karen Davenport has also won many awards, including 13 American Orchid Society awards. She's eagerly looking forward to the Naples Orchid Society show. We'll be there for 3 days, Karen Davenport said. It's going to be glorious. It's about golfing, a yacht club, and something about gambling. Okay, I'm not going to read that. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the newspaper page flipping and reading articles, and I will see you all very soon. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed, and check me out on TonyBomboni.com to book your own services from me. Thank you. God bless you. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.